Hey guys, what's up? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first cards that we have out are Eight of Pentacles and Two of Wands. I'm also seeing the Fool on the bottom of the deck. This looks like you're planning out the next steps as far as what it is that you've been working on, what it is that you've been focusing on. You could feel like there may be multiple directions that you could take things in. You may be thinking about venturing out in some way that could feel unfamiliar to you. Two of Wands associated with this can feel like you're at a bit of a crossroads where it's like, do I want to take everything leading up to this point in that direction, or do I want to take it in this direction? So it can be one of those times when you could feel like you're pausing a little bit and being like, what do I want to do next? Like, where do I want to go next? So you can be thinking about not only the next step that you're going to take, but also like what the trajectory of that is going to be and like where that's going to lead you. And to see the Fool on the bottom of the deck, you may be considering going like a route that maybe you hadn't expected to before, or maybe a way that you've never gone before. It can be like that type of thing. Like, do I want to incorporate something like very new into this? Do I want to try something out that may be different or like outside of the realm of familiarity for me? That sort of thing. Do I want to be spontaneous with what I'm doing? Do I want to even do something unexpected? It can be like that. You can be maybe wanting to think outside of the box too. It can be like maybe there's an expectation of you to go a certain way and you're like, I have the option not to go that way and I could go a different way. But all of it is about like making progress in where you're gonna go, but you trying to figure out like out of all of the steps, out of all of the next steps that you could go, like which one actually do you feel like you're willing to take? What are you willing to pursue? The Fool feels like you may be encouraged to do something that's like different in some way, and to like really open yourself up to the possibilities as well. Could be like taking a chance with something too. You could be experimenting, you could be trying something out, like that sort of thing. Because I'm seeing you definitely have opportunity here. For some of you, there may be something else that you're closing out too. I'm getting that as well. Okay. So over here, this is you being like, where do I go? It looks like there's a very clear door that's opening for you. So it may be starting to feel more obvious, like, that's the one, because you have these two here. So it's like, do I want to go this way? Do I want to go that way? This is going to be the way that you want to go. You feel like this is linked to Ten of Cups. So when you ask yourself, like, which door is this associated with, like the one that you feel like you're being led towards right now, it would be the one that's aligned with your pursuit of happiness, with fulfillment, like something that brings you joy. So this is like inner contentedness, inner contentment that you would be feeling by going this way. So it's something that would matter to you like internally, on the inside, feeling wise. So that may be what's motivating this choice of yours, even though it may be something that you're physically playing out or physically doing. Seeing what's motivating you is like, what would I feel happy doing? Like, what thing makes me happiest in going that way? Can also be choosing something that feels like it brings you like mental stability or like emotional stability, that type of thing. Seems like that's something that you want to hold on to. Something that you're not willing to let go of. So maybe that's also the thing too, is that you have multiple options, and maybe you're going to make the decision by what you don't want to let go of. Like, what option do you not want to miss out on? Can be that type of thing too. But I'm seeing it, because it's linked to the Ten of Cups, it's linked to something that like genuinely makes you feel happy. Where you're like, no, on an internal level, this is definitely the right move for me. But this can also be bringing other things into question too, where when we have when we have 10 of cups and we have 4 of pentacles, it can be like, this makes me happy, but it can also be bringing up stuff like financially for me or stuff practically for me. Because four of pentacles can be about like us really holding on to things and then blocking the flow because we're squeezing things too tightly or like worried about things, feeling like we have to stow stuff away rather than being in the flow. So maybe you also feel like those two things are sort of being brought up here for you. Because like, I would be happy doing this, but then what would that mean for me in other areas of my life? Or like, how would that impact me? So it feels like, yeah, for some of you, this is something that's coming up for you. You can be like, I'd feel happy going in this direction, but then how am I going to pay my bills? You know, it can be like something like that. That's not the only thing. That's just an example of what I'm seeing here. You could be like, I'd be happy doing this, but like practically, how would that work out? Like, who would watch the kids? You know, it can be just anything like that where you may be trying to balance between like internal happiness and contentment versus you like showing up in a physical manner too, or showing up for your like responsibilities or your duties and like wanting to be diligent in that way too. So you could be feeling some anxiety about that, but it seems like this is about, instead of, it's like conflict that's just being worked out currently. Investing, prioritizing. So this means that you're investing in all of the things that are priorities to you. And by taking like a more calculated and balanced approach, it feels like it's covering all of the necessary bases in order to allow you to enjoy things in a more like well-rounded way, to maintain stability, to maintain harmony. So rather than being like, I have to pick this and sacrifice this other thing, or pick that and sacrifice this, it's about sort of getting things to all work together, getting things to all move together, getting everything on the same page, moving in the same direction. And it seems like all of those things are aligned by what you feel most inspired to move in the direction of. Because that's what I'm seeing that you're going to do. This opportunity that you're going to take, this door that you're opening, it's linked with the Page of Wands. So this is you looking at a door and being like, whatever path that leads me down, I'm very, very interested moving in that direction. And you feel very happy because of that. And you're going to find that other things fall into place because of that as well. Because like, this is what you want to be doing. This is where you want to be going. And it looks like that's what you're going to choose to do. Move in the direction what you feel most connected with. Even if that's multiple things. Just take your time. I'm not seeing certain things be like much of a rush, because there could be some stuff that you're like having a hard time loosening your grip on, but to have temperance, it's like just ease your way into this. You don't need to be like letting things go before you're ready, but it's like just loosen your grip slowly, just like incrementally, and you're gonna get to where you need to be, where you feel like, okay, now I feel more in rhythm, now I feel more in flow, rather than like stopping things up. Because you're holding on to things out of a sense of like worry. Okay. Something that you're working on, taking your time. I'm not saying you don't need to drop anything right now. You don't need to let go of anything. You don't need to fully release anything yet. It feels like your priorities are also going to sort of speak for themselves. So if you're opening yourself up to being like, okay, what do I need to tend to right now? Those things are going to communicate back with you, and then you'll know what to do. So as long as you're in that space where you're open, you're going to be receptive to that, and you'll know what to tend to. It's like looking at your plants, like your investments and your manifestations, and being like, let me just tune in and see what needs to be watered right now. And when you tune in and you mindfully open yourself up to that space, it's going to communicate with you, and you'll know it just intuitively what needs to be watered. And it's going to feel like that type of approach is going to be helpful, like doing this in a mindful manner. Because it looks like there's not just one thing that you're tending to. I'm seeing choices, and I'm seeing like things that are feeling like multiple things that you're doing until it feels like things move more cohesively, but it's just going to be a process that this is going to take. So the work that you're doing, it's going to take a process for everything to get on the same page. It feels too like paying attention to what have you been investing in that at this point you're like, this is not something that I want to release. So I can maybe move these things around, but this isn't something that I want to let go of. So it's also about like doing inventory in that way too, is what I'm seeing. And it feels like that's also how you're figuring out where to step next, by tuning in. It feels also too like you're doing things that make you happy and that feeling good for you as well, because you feel aligned with what you're doing. Like it feels motivating to you because you're like, I feel like I'm in a good place emotionally. I feel like I'm in a good place mentally. And so it looks like you feel very prepared to show up and take action even when things are challenging or difficult or requiring a lot from you, because you feel like you're in a space where there's a sense of like stability and a basis from which you're working from. It seems like you're just prepared to take on whatever is being asked of you, or whatever you're asking of yourself, or whatever you feel like the universe is asking of you. And in the very center of this, I'm seeing a door that's opening for you, which is like an opportunity. So there's a lot of potential here. And this would be to move in the direction of something that just genuinely you feel like interested in this, called this way. It's like a path that you want to pursue, something that you want to follow, just something that you want to explore, experience, that type of thing. And so I'm seeing that sort of be the center of this. So it feels like maybe like a new way or a new thing that's kind of like slowly being added to your plate, and other things are simultaneously shifting around. So it's like, how are we going to make room for this? And what's that going to mean? Like, am I going to just shift things around? Am I going to take some things off? What's going to happen here? But I'm seeing more than anything, like we have Ace of Swords on the bottom of the deck. So I'm seeing you be as like clear-headed as you possibly could be right now, focused, and also seeing the big picture. Okay, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I'm seeing Sagittarius here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.